I'm going to call to order the March 27th meeting of the Neshoba Regional School Committee. Our first order of business is to see if we have any people in the audience with citizens' comments. Are there any citizens' comments this evening? Okay, I'm going to let me just review for folks the guidelines. We have two policies that govern this. The session is intended for brief comments or for input of information that requires little or no further discussion. There will be no exchange with the committee. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Not a discussion. Directed comments to the chair. We cannot hear complaints or comments about any individual school personnel nor any member of the school community, including school committee members or individual students. And I think that let's do it. So, would you stand and say who you are and where you live?
Linda Hathaway in Stowe. I'm the town clerk, and I actually had reached out to the school committee last week on Thursday after you had voted your calendar for the next calendar year about having a professional day or kids not in the school on the presidential primary of March 3rd, and I found out you'd already voted on it, and so I'm here to answer any questions and to talk about it, because that would be very helpful if we either had a no school or professional day or whatever works best for all of you folks as well as the students and for all the voters, because we expect the March primary to be very, very heavily attended.
Good. We actually have it on our calendar as an amendment
Yes.
to the school year, and that's the topic. But thank
Yes.
you for being here. If we have any further questions.
I'm staying through. I have plenty of work to do to answer any questions.
Very good. Thank you so much,
Sure.
Linda. Great. Okay. Student presentations. Mary Rowlandson.
They're still collecting them.
I'm sorry?
I think he's still collecting them.
Emery's in the hallways whenever you're ready.
They're first.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're first. Yep.
Oh, okay, all right. She's going to do a quick switch. Great. They have something to do.
Here's one of the exit out.
Trust you with this?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. You're up.
Oh. Thank you. So as you know, over the past year, our focus has been innovation. And over the summer, a lot of staff read The Innovator's Mindset by George Couros. At our August staff meeting, we talked as a staff about the 8 characteristics of innovation. And one of the characteristics was the idea of having a network of experts to learn from. Couros wrote that innovative educators know that networks make them smarter and understand the power of sharing ideas. Being connected is vital to innovation, and social media is a key way to be a part of that network. So Mr. O'Riordan, one of our 4th grade teachers, took this idea and ran with it this year. And as you'll see, he helped connect his students to real-world experts that help them increase their knowledge and help empower them. So this is Derek O'Riordan, and his students he'll introduce.
Thank you all for letting us come and talk to you tonight. I think you probably have a lot on the agenda, so we won't take up too much of your time, but I wanted to give these guys a chance to share what they've done this year. As Sean mentioned, we talked about the Innovator's Mindset this summer, and we've been talking about the workshop model, specifically with reading and writing, and how the two are connected. And we want the kids to look at reading through the eyes of a writer, and vice versa, look at writing through the eyes of a reader. As we did that, we moved on to try and figure out, what's the best way to do that. As Sean mentioned, George Couros came and he spoke with us. And one of the big things that he talked about was engaging the students and then giving them the empowerment over the learning themselves. So we looked at that. We tried to figure out what's the best way to do that. Kids have a lot of questions. They want to know a lot. I don't have all the answers, although sometimes I tell them I do, but I really don't. They should be able to ask the questions that they want and find the answers. How do we do this? I've been teaching at the Mary Rowlandson Elementary School for 16 years. For the first 15, when kids had questions to authors or whoever it might be, we'd write a letter, put it in the mail, send it, wait 3 months and hope we get an answer. In 15 years, we got 2 answers. So it wasn't very helpful that way. But with social media and technology and everything like that, we have a new avenue, a new way to connect with these authors that the kids had questions for. George said technology is not just a tool, it can give learners a voice that they may not have had before. For us, we chose Twitter. Everybody's on it, and we could get a question out there within minutes, and sometimes get a response just as quickly. As I said, 15 years, we had 2 responses. Since the end of October, we've had over 30. They range from a simple like on a tweet that might have said, you know, Dear Jeff King, we love Diary of a Wimpy Kid, thanks for making reading fun. Click the like button, and we got to see that. Others would have been more specific about, you know, why did you include this character this way, or why did you make the setting like this to start the story. We were even able to Skype with an author and have 45 minutes to talk to them and ask a whole bunch more questions. One of the students wrote to an author, and the reply was, Ken, I'm not very good with Twitter, but I live in Bolton. Let me come in and answer the question in person. So she came in and spoke for another 45 minutes, and we got to meet her. And the experience for me was incredibly exciting, because all I want, you know, with the questions that they have is to give them the answers that they're looking for. And with this, we were able to. In the slideshow, and I think it's in all your packets that you have, there are a lot of responses that we got. I'm not going to read them all, but I wanted to give the kids a chance to share you know, what their questions were, what they heard back, and what they thought. So Amanda will be up first. She wrote to Catherine Applegate, who wrote The One and Only Ivan, along with a lot of other books. So.
My name is Amanda. I love dogs and all animals. I read The One and Only Ivan by Catherine Applegate. There's my friend Camille. We asked her, why did you make Ivan a gorilla? She said back, thanks for reading, Camille and Amanda. That's a good question, and I have an answer that may surprise you. Did you know that the book was loosely based on a true story? Ivan was a real gorilla, and he spent the first 27 years of his life in a shopping mall in Washington State. One day, I was reading the newspaper, and I saw the heading, Gorillas Sulk. In a mall, as his future is debated. I read the article, and I knew that I had to tell the Ivan story. I didn't know the story was based off of a real gorilla. I thought she made it up or saw one in the zoo. I learned that I could get ideas for my reading from real life, from my friends or family, or from reading stories. I was really happy to get a response.
Thank you very much. The next one we had, this was Susie Becker, who came into class with us. You can see she says she's a terrible tweeter and offered to come in. And Melissa Savage on the right up there, Vinny had written to her, and she was the one who actually ended up Skyping with us. And Vinny, to his credit, had me change my curriculum for the next month so that we could read Lemons and get ready to go and talk to her. So, go ahead, Jen.
My name is Vincent. One day I was reading Lemons by Melissa Savage, and I was wondering what happened to her mom, and how she created the characters, and were they based on people she knew. This is what she wrote back. Hello, Mr. O and Vincent. Thank you for reading Lemons. I'm so glad to hear you are loving it. I don't want to spoil any details, but you will find out what happens to Lem's mom. And yes, the book has many personal references, including Kilvin, who is named after my amazing son. I actually got the one for our class to read Lemons and even Skype with her. I asked her if she was going to write another book about lemons, but her publisher said no. She wanted to write another book from Tobin's supposed to be another character in the book, but her publisher said no again. Lemons is about Bigfoot, and somebody else asked her if she was going to write another book about mythical creatures. She wrote one book about aliens, and she's writing another one about the Loch Ness Monster. I thought it was very interesting and cool that she's writing about things she really likes.
Thank you, Ben. And this is the current book we're reading in class now in school by Alan Woodrow. And Lily asked the first question, so I can let Lily go next.
My name is Lily, I'm 10 and I love playing soccer. I was reading at school in class and by Alan Woodrow, and I was wondering why weren't the two main characters on the same team for field day? She wrote back, George and Lily learned that friendship and playing fair is more important than winning. I don't think they have learned those lessons if they were on the same team. Only by almost breaking their friendship did they realize its importance. I was excited to hear back from Mr. Woodrow. It was so cool. I've never heard from an author before. I was more excited to read the story after hearing back from him.
Thank you, Lil. And John is up next.
Hi, my name is John. My class is reading in school by Alan Woodrow. The book starts in the sweaty ghost journey. My question was, why did he start there during Spirit Week? He responded back, the story begins with the announcement of Spirit Week, so that seemed like the best place to start. It was a shame that AC didn't work, which made an uncomfortable situation only more so. When I write, I thought about how to use the setting in my stories to help set the mood for different scenes. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Just as a little wrap up, these were just some of the highlights with the authors. I'm not going to read them all to you. They're in the packet, as I said. But I did want to look at two of them specifically. A lot of students have trouble forming ideas. Where do I come up with my stories and my characters? And Susie Becker, who came into class, said, I get my ideas from real life. I like to make my dreams come true. When I write, I can always do that. So that would be a great way to find something to write about. And the last one, to bring it back to what we talked about at the beginning, how students look at reading and writing almost through the same lens as readers and writers. And Melissa Savage, when we spoke with her, ended up with saying that reading makes you a better writer, to connect the two. So it was very exciting to go through all this and see the connections the kids were making and what they've learned. So thank you all for letting us come tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions or comments for the students? So Mr. O'Reilly? Mike?
I'm wondering if you think that connecting with authors makes reading more enjoyable, and if it does, why do you think that is?
I think it does because you actually get to ask the questions and find out the real answers. I also feel like that's probably true because I'm not really sure.
Makes sense though.
I think it's better.
Yeah, they aren't just nervous in class.
I think it's better because it gets me into more books and stuff.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you so much. And no matter how long or complex our agendas are, hearing from you guys and knowing what you're doing in school and the wonderful things that you're doing and the innovative things that Mr. O'Reilly is giving you experience with, these are the best parts of our meeting. So thank you so much for coming. Nice job.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I just say too, just a quick comment? it's so exciting to see George Girls come alive in other ways. And you know, as we mapped out this year, and then we saw the work coming through, to see this come through in fruition. Hats off to your teacher as well for tackling it like this. Great job. I would have to agree.
Oh, I have one more question. Did you guys decide to all wear red, or is it just?
They didn't tell me about it, I don't know.
Evidently, yeah.
We did.
Oh, all right.
You all did an amazing job. We are
You
so
did.
proud of the work that you did, and you
Thanks.
just did super tonight. Thank you so much, parents. Thank you so much for bringing them tonight. I agree. It's just our favorite part is watching the kids. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So now we're going to see a presentation from the Neshoba Regional High School Transitions class.
Transitions classes on. There it is. Hello and
Hi, welcome.
They're going to do their own introductions because they are adult students from our transition class, but I do want to recognize that Ms. Fredman, their teacher, is here tonight. She's a new teacher in the transition program, so we're happy. And we have Mrs. Giannetti, the high school special ed department chair, and Mrs. Bell is here, the BCBA for the program. So I'm going to let the students talk about transitions and Special Olympics.
Hello, I'm Sydney Meininger. Good evening. Thank you to the school committee for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight about my involvement with Special Olympics and what it means to me. My name is Sydney Meininger, and I live in Bolton. I attended Sawyer School, Luther Burbank School, and Neshoba Regional High School as a member of the class of 2018. I am currently in my first year in the transitions program. I have been a Special Olympics athlete for 8 years. I play on a unified soccer team, a traditional basketball team, and Neshoba's unified track team. This fall, I joined the Youth Activation Council for the Massachusetts Special Olympics organization. The council is made up of 20 students with and without intellectual disabilities. We develop social media companions to promote unified sports programs within our schools. Earlier this month, we hosted an annual Youth Leadership Summit to increase the number of unified champion schools in the state. Being a champion school means offering unified sports programs to students of all abilities, providing inclusive leadership opportunities, and whole school engagement activities that foster inclusion and acceptance. This year, I applied for and was chosen to be a Special Olympics Youth Ambassador, a position I'll hold for the next 2 years. And I am one of only 12 ambassadors from across the country. In early February, I traveled to San Diego, California, where I attended a conference along with my friend and fellow Massachusetts ambassador, Elise Whitmore, and our mentor, Allison DeLuco, from Auburn High School. Elise and I met the 10 other youth ambassadors who come from Colorado, Montana, Hawaii, Illinois, Florida, and Virginia. Our group spent one day in California visiting Olympian High School in Chula Vista. This unified champion school offers unified teams in many sports, such as soccer, basketball, cheerleading, track and field, and CrossFit. I recently got invited to speak at Air Shirley High School to share my experiences with Special Olympics and unified sports, with the hope that their school can have a unified track team this spring. I talked about how much I like to play sports. I like going to practice and hanging out with my teammates and winning medals.
Participating in unified sports, both in and out of my school district, has allowed me to make friends because we share a common goal, the love of sports. My hope is that before I leave, Neshoba will be a unified champion school. We are both involved in Best Buddies and Unified Track. We like hanging out with our peers and winning medals. Neshoba has also offered a cooking and crafts club and a bowling club after school. Cassie is an ambassador for Best Buddies, and I am the treasurer for Neshoba. Cassie is going to talk about the transitions program next.
Hi, my name is Cassie Dolan. I am 21 years old. I am in the transition program at Neshoba Regional High School. Students come to the transitions program after high school to prepare for a life after school. At the transitions program, we work at job sites and work on independent living skills. At Bo's Kitchen and Stowe, we work on food prep and clean the kitchens. We prep sausage, bacon, pizzas, breads, cookies, and other food for the meals later in the day. I work on the grill cooking for customers. I like cooking omelets. I work on teamwork skills and I like helping others at those. At Clinton Vet, I help the animals stay comfortable and safe. I clean kennels, do laundry, file charts, complete cleaning tasks, and inventory. I'm working on problem solving and interpersonal skills at Clinton Vet. I'm interested in working with animals in the future. I started working at Slater's last spring through the transitions program. And now I have a part-time job position there during the week at Slater's. I fill sour cream, salsas, prepare nachos, and I help my coworkers in the kitchen. I like Slater's because I work with great people. I'm looking forward to more challenges at Slater's. Thank you for listening to our presentation.
I'm going to speak first this evening. Lady, I just can't thank you enough for coming in tonight. It was just fabulous. Cassie, your joy of life and what you present tonight was just fabulous. Love to see the pictures up here. And I love that you're working on the problem solving and that you love the animals and you can just see that come through you. It's just fabulous. Sydney, I have a little bit of a different surprise for you. I mean, you probably didn't know this, but I received a beautiful letter about you from somebody in the Air Shirley after they watched you do your presentation and said that you were just so incredibly inspiring. And I will get that letter sent to you via Mrs. Giannetti and forward that on to you so that you can see it. And the comment was made that you were just an incredible representative for Neshoba. And I have to say to both of you sitting here tonight, I'm so impressed. You did a fabulous job tonight, so poised, so professional. And Sydney, when you're talking about the sports, I can just hear it from you. You just love to do that, I can just tell. And I think that is what the Air Shirley folks found so inspiring about what you had to say. So to both of you, I can't thank you enough for coming tonight. It just a top-notch presentation. Thank you so much. I'll turn it over to Catherine.
I just have a question for Sydney. Is there anything the school committee can do to help Neshoba become a unified champion school? What can we do?
What does that mean?
we would explain it again. What makes a school a unified champion school?
Providing inclusive leadership opportunities and whole school engagement activities that foster inclusion and acceptance.
Okay.
Great.
So as you move along, because you sounds like you've got a very important position in this organization, please make sure you let the school committee know if there's anything we can do to help. And Cassidy, do you sleep? Because you seem to be so busy and upbeat and cheerful, and I don't know how you do it. You're in a lot of things and things that spark your interest, and congratulations. It sounds like you like the work, but you really enjoy everything you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you to both of you for coming tonight. Thank you to the staff and the teachers that work so closely and to make all of this happen. It's just great. We wish you the very best. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there something else?
Is there something else? So did you want to mention anything else?
Yeah.
Now's the time.
Our school is signing up for Last Olympics Unified Basketball next year.
Yes.
So
Awesome.
that's something
Oh.
that the school committee can support, right?
When people talk about support, there's usually a dollar amount attached. So you just let us know. Keep us posted, okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
everyone. Appreciate it. Great start to the meeting. Oh my goodness.
I know. Thanks for starting us off.
Doesn't it?
Okay, so there are no updates from the chair. I don't think we have our student representative with us tonight. And so I'm gonna,
She's at lacrosse all-team meeting, the first all-team meeting.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
last time it was the play, now it's lacrosse. Where is priority?
He's a senior.
I don't know. Okay.
Lita, do we still have that clip, that video clip to be able to show tonight? I do have a video clip I'm going to show with Colin in it from the jazz evening.
Okay,
So
great.
yeah, I was going to show that during his time, but he's not here and he's going to miss it. But I think if Alita can bring it up.
Maybe next time we can show a clip of him from Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
He did quite the role. Yes, I was looking forward to complimenting him on that.
I'll just speak, actually, it's in here anyway, to the jazz night. We had, there were 6 jazz bands from across the district, and that all came, and ultimately 130 in total. Colin's right back in here as a trumpet.
I think it's right here.
Yeah. Isn't it just incredible? This has so much pride. Oh, yeah. There he is. Yeah. Thanks, Leah. It was just an incredible night. And the grand finale, they had all 130 students, and so precious because of course you've got the seniors who were down on the floor, and then some of our youngest little drummers on the side of the stage. Oh my gosh, it was just a great night. Very well attended and so well supported by everybody that was in the audience. So that was number 5. So I digress, but Tom will go back up to number 1 now. So.
Yes, we've had a busy couple of weeks in the district for sure in terms of number of presentations and happenings in the district. We wanted to start first by mentioning that last Thursday, March 21st, Dr. Ruth Pote addressed a packed auditorium filled with Neshoba Regional School District students, their families, our faculties to deliver a thoughtful and thorough presentation on the dangers that are associated with substance abuse and addictive behaviors. The presentation spoke specifically to brain development and the importance of educating our youth about dangers that are associated with illegal substances and the risk of addiction. Prior to her keynote, there were also several interactive stations outside in the main hallway in the foyer. There was also art that was created by students as well. They were set up with several resources as well for information and strategies to address the important topic. We can't stress how great the turnout was. The auditorium was absolutely packed. So thank you to everybody who had outreach in terms of our papers, in terms of our schools, in terms of our community. It was really, really well attended.
I think it was also helpful that the teachers gave some additional bonus points
They
for
did.
the kids to come that night. So I think we had 254 students at least
Yeah.
that we kept track of. I mean, it was a packed night. And she was it was powerful. I
Very
thought it was
powerful.
really powerful. And, you know, when she was talking, and you could see with the brain development, and she had it up on the screen, you could say, oh my gosh, like look what happens if you're doing this at 15 or 17 or 18 versus 20. I mean, it was just really powerful stuff. So I thought she was absolutely fabulous.
The second piece revolves around extended learning and coming attractions associated with extended learning. So I'm going to pass around the new brochure for extended learning for the 2019-2020 school year, as well as the upcoming April camp. April vacation camp is April 16th to the 19th. It's filling up quickly. It's designed for grades K through 6. The district's popular camp is available as a half-day or a full-day option. It will be held at the center school. Families can choose from arts, drama-oriented program to STEM logo program, plus a special Sayori Japanese weaving workshop for campers who want to use a loom to create colorful projects made of fibers. That's this April. We're also offering a Neshoba Regional School District summer camp from June 24th to the 27th. So it's a 4-day camp experience for K through 6 students who want to explore, create, and make new friends. It will be held at the Hale Middle School from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. This year's camp offers 3 different options: Ninja Warrior, Viking Sports, and Splish Splash Arts Blast. And our new extended learning brochure is out for next year for the 2019-2020 school year with an emphasis on structured creative choice, fun, discovery. The extended learning program will focus on 3 key pillars of enrichment: communication, community, and physical and emotional well-being. And the new brochure was just created and is available on the website as well as in the offices. And then finally, what I'm going to talk about is we've been doing a lot of kindness counts at several of our schools. Staff members at the center school in the past week worked with their students to set up and push a cart around to all of the staff with coffee and treats on it. At the Luther Burmick Middle School, they've started Positive Sign Thursdays as a part of an overall kindness and positivity campaign. Hale Middle School kicked off Kindness Week with an assembly about silent strength. After the assembly, the student body pledged to silence hurtful and mean-spirited actions and words. Throughout the week, students sent each other kind mail. The notes were filled with uplifting and kind-hearted words about peers and teachers. Every morning, students entered the building while fun, positive, and upbeat music was playing over the loudspeakers in the intercom, which helped to set a tone for the day and brighten up the morning. Finally, students debriefed the week's events and advisory and answered the following prompt: to me, kindness is. Students' responses were written on leaves of paper and are being turned into a kindness tree in the hallway. It was a great experience for the Hale community. The Florence Sawyer School will be celebrating Kindness Week during the week of April 8th. The purpose of that week is to recognize and celebrate random and intentional acts of kindness while spreading joy and compassion through the community. In addition to the dress-up themes and school-wide activities, members of the club have also created class kindness kits filled with activities for students at each grade level.
Awesome, thank you. I'm going to go on to number 4. Basically, I know that the timing is perfect because we've got our school council members here tonight with us, and I think I just want to give a shout out. I think people forget that these are voluntary positions that you take, and you put a lot of time and effort, and I'm really looking forward to everything that you're bringing forward tonight with the three groups that are here this evening. I always really enjoy going around and meeting with the groups, and I've got most of them already under my belt this year. I still have to get to Hale. I think I haven't been to Hale and haven't hit the high school yet this year either. But I always really appreciate meeting with them. So thank you so much. If you're sitting in a school council, thank you so much for your work. We really appreciate it. Hale Career Day, we both attended a Hale Career Day. That was interesting. We did some tweeting out that day too. That was fabulous. It was very fun. We both sat in different sessions, and a lot of community members came in that day to present. I know certainly one of the sessions I was in was just fabulous. It was, and again, somebody who works in the community that came in has so much positive energy, and it was so great. And the kids they just ate it up. They loved it. And it was just really a cool day. So to everyone involved in the Hale Career Day, hats off, congrats. It was a great day. Just one other mention, our award-winning athletic director continues to be award-winning. So congratulations to Tanya Rich, who's just, I mean, she really is just the best. She really is. She was recently recognized for her efforts and the many efforts and accomplishments at the Massachusetts Secondary Schools Athletic Directors Association, where she was honored with an award for distinguished service by the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association. Ms. Rich continues to be a shining example of excellence in all she does within our district. She's just simply amazing. We are so blessed to have her. And I was thinking about it, that in my 3 years here, she has won an award, a major award every year. It's got nothing to do with me being here. It's like knowledge. Wow, I mean, she's just amazing. Like, how many people win that many awards, in a 3-year cycle? And she deserves every bit of it. She works day and night, and we always tease and say that she bleeds green, because we're sure that she bleeds in Ashoka green, because she is just such a chieftain through and through, and she's just amazing. So hats off and congratulations to Tanya Rich. I don't have it on here, but two things I wanted to circulate as well. If you didn't see these, these are articles from the Telegram, and just want you to see these as well. One is about our robotics team, and you'll remember that we sent them off to New Jersey,
yes,
right? So
yes.
Here's a little blurb that the Telegram did about how well they did, and of course they're off. They've done another competition in Massachusetts, and then they're off to Maine, I believe, next month. So congratulations to everybody at the high school robotics group. They also did a great presentation for the commissioner when he was here on that March 8th day that we had, and the robot was moving about that day. It was phenomenal. If you've never seen those competitions, they really are something for you to take in. So hats off to everyone involved in that, and of course DECA. And I know you're coming up to talk about another trip for DECA, because they've done so well. So again, the Telegram had a great article on this, and I just thought we would hand this out to you as well to take a quick look at. And you can see we did a lot of tweeting during their competition as well, so you can see how well the DECA team at the high school is doing. And it's been a busy 2 weeks. So that's it for me. Thank you.
So much good stuff. I'm so happy that the turnout for Dr. Cote was so good.
Oh, it was just excellent.
And I just can't get over the extended learning department and the leadership there, and the programs they continue to put out are just exceptional.
Yeah.
And it's good to see. And I mean, I think I was somewhere and I picked up the Telegram and saw this, and I felt proud. This is the show bus. But, all this happens because of the support of administration and the dedication of teachers. Because, they may get a stipend for what they do, but it nowhere near approaches the amount of time, effort,
right,
blood, sweat, and tears that goes into whatever they do, and it pays off. And it's all done for the good kids.
And I
That's
think
great.
too, one of the things, and I thought about this as I was watching our girls basketball team, is the amount of sacrifice our parents make for all of this. I mean, even the robotics team, there's a lot of parents that are so actively involved, that are sitting there night after night with the kids at the high school on the floor trying to get the robot to do whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a complex process for coding and everything else. But so I agree. I mean, I think our kids deserve credit as to the staff that coach and everything else, but I think the parents too, for the amount of sacrifice that they put forward here to make sure the kids can do everything that we're doing with them. So.
Very good. Well, thank you, and thanks, Todd.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Okay, new business. We're going to see presentations from the school councils. Do you want to
Right,
do
and
the honors
absolutely. We'll
introduce?
start off with Sean O'Shea, and you're going to come forward, and we'll talk about Mary Wilson, I believe. Is that what we got first, Avita? Did I jump the gun on there?
Center school was first.
Oh, Sean, my apologies. We have center school first.
Do you want us all up at the same time, or just
Well, I'm
each
not
school
sure
one by
how
one.
many are here for, can
I
we?
think probably a total of 6, right?
Yeah, I've set it up for 6.
Oh, if we can all fit here, I would
Okay.
love to have everybody come up at once, that'd be great. Just roll the chair up, roll the chair up.
Yeah, I'll take this. And then we'll be in there.
So one of the
So sorry.
that was, Paul pulls a chair.
And everyone's laughing.
So one of the things that we haven't done before is have our school councils report up to the school committee. And so this is our first go around at it. And so we're having 3 schools tonight and 3 schools at our next meeting. So this evening, we're really focusing on the elementary schools. So we know who we've got sitting at the table in terms of our administration, and we'll leave it to our administrators to introduce the representatives that they've got. And I was going to go by the agenda, but I see that our center is, so my apologies for that. So we're going to start with Central
East to
School,
west,
so,
maybe. Okay.
yeah, thank you.
So hard to follow students and, such great news about the district, but we'll do our best for school council. So thanks for having us. I want to introduce from Center, Jessica Gale, who is one of our parent representatives, who's been on school council. This is now your third year. So Jess currently has 2 students at Center, 4th and a 5th grader, fifth and a fifth. So we are going to go through a couple different slides. Each school has the same structure.
That's right.
So we'll go from there.
For the presentation, same structure.
So again, Jessica Gale is one of our parent representatives. June Keavy and Carolyn Weller are also our parent representatives. Linda Haas, Amy Keogh, and Beth Holmgren are our teacher representatives. And we're currently looking for a community rep. In the past, we've had Louise Peacock, who was a school nurse in the district for several years. Donna Lindstrom, who was a school nurse, was our nurse leader, and then currently has a position outside the district. She was on board for a little bit, but work timing, scheduling didn't quite work out for her. So we put out to a couple of local people who work at that time, so they're not able to make it. So we're still looking for our new community rep. So just, I'm not going to read through each goal, but you'll see that our school improvement goals, we attempted to mirror the district improvement plan with regards to priorities. I think if you, it's off the website now, but the previous school improvement plan had a number of goals on it, and I think that was one of the things that we looked at was we want to make it obviously attainable in the sense that we want to push ourselves, but we don't want to put so much on paper that in reality we're not able to accomplish that. We want to focus our efforts. So you'll see that those mirror a lot of what's in the district improvement plan. And part of that on our end, and I think the parents shared it as well, is that the amount of work that some of our teachers are doing with the literacy initiative with regards to instruction. And I think Joel has said it too. I mean, it's a lot of intensive work. And it does reach into supporting students that need intervention and also helping students that are ready for enrichment with the curriculum. So not adding on to teachers' plates, but being realistic about making sure that we're capturing and thinking about what's important for Center within that type of goal. So in being asked to put up some points of pride, I think one of our biggest points of pride is we have strong relationships in our school council. And there's open lines of communication, and I think there's a lot of good back and forth discussion. Sometimes I can just sit back and teachers and parents are sharing perspective on things. It's a good way for us to have a lens into the parent community and the school community outside of our walls. And it's always student focused. So currently one of the things we're looking at is two things we're really looking at is we're taking a look at recess at Center. So it was good to have some parent perspective because there's typically some conversation in the community around, do we have enough recess? How can we better use recess to support the school day and student achievement? But also we're going to be promoting for parents some of the workshops that are coming up. For example, CPAC is going to be running one on the 21st of May about anxiety. And when we did a survey of parents last year about social emotional learning, a lot of them wanted information for themselves about childhood anxiety, so we're gonna really be promoting that. It's taking place at center, so sort of having a collaboration with CPAC on that. So, I don't know, Jess, if you wanna add in anything?
So from my perspective as a parent, it was really great to have this opportunity. I didn't realize how much we would be heard as parents through this monthly meeting that we attend. The recess questionnaire that's going out, that was, you know, it was something that we had brought up and discussed, and it was great to have it so nicely received, and then to see it, you know, go out to the teachers. The questionnaire that was put out last year, where the anxiety, you know, interest into hearing more about that. There was also a lot that we got to see from the results as far as, all right, we think this is happening, we think the kids, you know, are feeling a certain way, and it was nice to see those beliefs reflected in the results that we got from the parents who did participate in the survey. So I've enjoyed this experience, and it's been great to see what we can accomplish.
Can I just say something? Thank you. And for the more seasoned school committee members, if you're sitting here and listening, you should be connecting dots from like 3 years ago, saying, okay, we're going to create that district improvement plan, and then we're going to see how this, and you should be sitting here tonight and seeing this all 3 years later coming through. So great. And keep in mind too, a big role for school committee, or for our school councils, is the work on the school improvement plan. So it's not the only thing that they do, but it's a big chunk of their work, and envisioning where they'd like to see their school go.
So I think we had a target for the fall to have it ready, like early fall, but we had to take our time to sort of revise and make sure it really fit what we envisioned and we expected for our school without overdoing it. So, you know, having it a couple months later than we intended gave us some time to actually focus in and make sure it fit where we want to be in a couple of years. So.
Well, it makes it that much more authentic, and that's really what we're looking for. So that's terrific. Thank you so much. So we'll head over to the next school, Florence Sawyer. So Mr. Bates.
So thank you for this opportunity. Our Florence Sawyer School Council, I think, is very much a partnership, and I'm grateful as a principal for that partnership. I want to echo Superintendent Clunchy's sentiment earlier that we are grateful for our volunteers. With me tonight is Amy Cohen, one of our parent representatives, and thank goodness she's a volunteer, because we'd never be able to afford her with the amount of time that she invests in our school. As Ross and Jessica pointed out, if you want to go to our...
You pass it down.
Oh, it's, sorry. There we go. So our school council as a pre-K through 8 school might be a little larger than you typically see, but it's made of the same constituencies. So we have community representatives, Susie Becker, who was mentioned earlier tonight, Patty Darling, one of our teachers, Stacy Dupuy, who also serves as the PAC president. It's nice to have that representation there. Kristen Gaynor and Jocelyn Jastrab are parent representatives. Susan Jones is a kindergarten teacher. I'll skip down to Hannah Kaplan is a special educator working with middle level kids. Mary Malahi is a teacher rep, but represents the specialists. And Dr. Mary McCarthy, who we need to find a new replacement for, who, like so many school council members at Florence Sawyer School in the past, have joined the school committee. We're proud of the school improvement plan goals that we have. As Principal Mulcairn said, they mirror the district improvement plan, but also fit through the lens of where we want to go as a school. What was instrumental in that subcommittee in helping develop that school improvement plan. And looking at, without reading it to you, just taking into account the physical and emotional safety of students and their well-being, and looking at ways where we can continue to build exciting, engaging, innovative instruction for all of our students and learning opportunities, and to provide a safe campus. I want to go back to goal 2, because important part, one of the most important parts in working with a school council is getting feedback from the community on not only what we do well and taking stock of that, but where we can be better. And looking at communication and a communication plan, having our communication, both the day-to-day and the responsive communication, but also the messaging mirror the expectations of the district. And working with Jay Stewart and developing that plan with Mr. McGuire, I think has really been helpful for us. And so our newsletters, our website, Amy was a representative of the school council in the website development. The year at a glance calendar, I'll let you talk about those things, but it's very much a partnership, and I'm grateful for it, and appreciate the opportunity to share some of the work that we do.
Yeah, I wanted to thank you for the opportunity for inviting the school council and parent representatives to this meeting, because I think it's an important opportunity to share the work that we're doing and hear what the school committee is doing, kind of tie the two together. And I also, I guess I think that the school councils serve an important role for feedback from parents to the administration, kind of like a direct way of getting parents' views on how things are going at the school and creating an opportunity for things to improve or change or adjust. And one of the things that's happened since I've been on the school council at Florence Sawyer is updating the newsletter. That was something that was we were getting a lot of feedback from parents on how it needed to be tweaked. And I think as a result of the work of the school council, we found a format that seems to be working much better for parents at Florence Sawyer. And also creating a calendar where we can try to capture events that are going on at school.
And by we, Amy means her. very, very much a leadership role in pulling all of our calendars together and creating a year-at-a-glance calendar that the community really appreciates having, where we ask, and I've asked just at the beginning of our third trimester to have our teachers, our activity advisors, our clubs start to consolidate those dates, because they really don't vary much from year to year, and building that into a tool that people can have and be either refrigerator ready or on your phones to help you know what's coming up short and long term. I'll do credit to Amy. We also, I think with the school council and getting that feedback, it's the big things, but also the little things, like recognizing that we could change our pickup procedures and make some small adjustments and actually make a big difference and make it a little easier for parents in the dismissal. Turning left on 117 is not easy, but it's been helpful in having our students picked up and get to where they're going safely and quickly.
Thank you so much. We'll go to MRE.
So the challenge and the benefit of going last is that most things have been said. So I'd like to thank Jack. This is Jackie Reinhardt, and then Scott Blanchard, our assistant principal, is here tonight. So Jackie's one of our parent members. Just like the other schools, we have a variety of we have a balance of teachers and parents. And just as mentioned by Ross, the community member is always the hardest part. We thought we had somebody this year, and then the time didn't work for them. And every year we keep trying to find another community member who will join our group. Like the other two schools, our school improvement plan is made that change to mirroring the district improvement plan. And it says proposed goals because we've spent our year, our last plan was 5 years long, which we talked about this year as being too long. And so we spent a lot of time this year doing brainstorming sessions, talking about we want our school to be, and then looking at the district plan and other plans to pull together. And these are our proposals that we're finalizing over the next month or so, with some benchmarks along the way. The two-way communication obviously has been very important for me to find out what parents are thinking. Different, or just to add to what the other schools said, one area in particular was in our Alice rollout and safety plan this year. Like, as we were rolling that out and talking with parents, it was great to get feedback about how's this going out with parents, how are they feeling about it, are we on the right track, do they understand? So that was very important at the beginning of the year. But Jackie, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, so I guess I would want to just point out too the way that the team is able to bring in even the theme of the year, the innovator mindset. So the brainstorming sessions that Sean was talking about, all of the council were there, and we had access to a planning document where everyone was typing and all these different ideas. And what was really great, I think, as a parent is seeing what the teachers and the administration are writing, and it's exactly what the parents are writing. And so just that, I think that cohesion is really good. And then to be able to go back to Facebook and less formal settings and talk about how our administration and our teachers are really working for our kids in really meaningful ways.
Terrific. Questions at all for any of our school council members or administration?
How do you communicate with each other across the school councils? Like, can you steal each other's ideas? That would be awesome. Do you ever work together? Is there?
I think it's less sort of formal. We don't typically have it on the standing agenda of the principals meeting, but we typically end up having conversations between each other about what's happening with school councils, or if I get a question from parents that I want to put out to other administrators, I'll do that. And I think likewise that's happened as well. So
we didn't do it this year. I think it was last year, or in the recent past. We met with Burbank to talk about, with the Burbank School Council, to kind of talk about transition and just similarities and things. So we probably ought to make that, I mean, our time's limited, it's once a month, but we probably should make that kind of a standing thing, because it's nice to see the vertical articulation of what we're doing.
Right, yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Other questions? Can I just say, I'm sorry, Mike, go ahead.
So I appreciate the work that you folks do at the school level. And each of you individually spoke about this essential component of two-way communication. And I wonder how that communication happens. We mentioned Facebook. And I wonder if parents are reaching out to the parent representatives, if they're going through that way, or if they're reaching out to administrators, if it's broadcast to the entire school council, if it's a little bit of everything. I mean, so I mean, on the school committee, we have this robust communication with the community, and I just wonder how robust it is with you guys.
I'm happy to speak to that. I mean, I view my role as being a parent representative on a school council as sometimes to the chagrin of the administration, as passing along whatever might be going on in some of those other forums on Facebook, or especially, there's moms groups in every town that tend to be occasionally used to vent on things that are going on in school. So when those types of things happen, I do try to use my role as a school council member to share information that's going on at these meetings, but also we'll share both ways. Share with the Facebook communities that, just so you know, this kind of thing has come up at the school council meetings, and this is what we've discussed, and these are the possible solutions. And also let the administration know there seems to be some unrest around these issues. I also try to, whenever possible, refer people directly to the administration, or try to recruit them. Volunteer their time on committees where these things are discussed.
Yeah.
Right? while I have an opportunity to make a plug, I think the more that whoever asks a question about if we all get together to talk about things, I think that would be an excellent thing to plan for, you know, like maybe an annual meeting of the councils together, if possible, just so that we, to help align goals or bounce ideas off of each other or see what one school's doing versus another and help each other as much as we can.
Any other questions?
I just want to thank you again for your volunteer work and the efforts that you put forward. And I appreciate the robust discussion. I appreciate when I come and you ask really thoughtful questions, and I'm very appreciative of that too, so I thank you so much for that.
I like the fact that I can see the alignment with the district improvement plan, and that just because there's a alignment doesn't mean that everybody is doing the same thing. Every school measures its own needs. I loved hearing that parents feel that they are being heard, that issues have come up. And so I just want to thank the administration and the parents for the work you've done on the school councils and for the presentation tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming.
Not so fast, Sean. Okay, the next item under new business is the...
Sean is, yeah, Sean's supposed to, yeah.
Yeah. Didn't you hear me say not so fast, Sean? Nature's Classroom trip approval. In your packet, you have the approval form. The dates are in September, so there's lots of time. And I think everything is filled out. Sean, you want to give us any other information, or?
We've lost count on how many years this is. I don't know if it's like 30 or 40. I mean, it's, you mentioned Tanya Rich.
Yeah.
She talked about her, that's one of her favorite things of her elementary experience, so she's not having it.
Yeah.
But it's just a great opportunity every year for our fifth graders to go and experience a week away while doing a lot of science-based activities, and kind of it's a galvanizing experience at the beginning of their end of elementary school, and kind of carries them all year in a lot of whether it's in writing or reading and stuff. So the other part that has become a part of this program over the last few years, there are two names on here, Andy Shaw and Everett Moody, who are going to be chaperones. So Everett Moody is Lieutenant Moody of the Lancaster PD, and Andy Shaw is a detective, or he's in the force. I don't know his role, it changes occasionally, but it's been wonderful to have the Lancaster PD attend without uniform and to build relationships. And we've seen it pay dividends later on when he's working with children in middle and high school. So we really, it kind of came by happenstance because his son went through, and he just said, we're committing to this every year. So that continues, and it continues to grow.
Any questions for Sean? Lynn?
Why is this come so early? I know that you're asked.
Sean?
Get it done.
Because what can happen between now and September?
So, well, but I think the policy says 90 days prior, and this goes in September, so I don't think you meet prior to this. So we just want to make sure we get it in the fall.
Usually the problem's the opposite.
Yeah.
Tuesday. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But the planning has to be well in advance.
Yeah.
So that's really what it is.
Yeah, this already started. It starts when we're over. It starts planning for next year.
I'm assuming you have wiggle room for students that might move into the district that want to participate, sort of a last minute thing.
Yeah.
And are there any
financial assistance too?
That was going to be the second part. Any concerns about financial assistance?
No, we have a whole system in place.
Figure if it's been going on for this long, you
Yeah.
guys have got it down to
Yeah,
science.
yeah. There's a whole packet. So when students come in the summer and register, we're like, fifth grader, here you go. and it's great too. That is such a neat way for new students like to then really go on and get to know some kids.
With the exception of the police officers, all the other chaperones, teachers?
Well, this speaks to our community also. So Peggy Corbett and is Charlie on there? Charlie Sampson are retired teachers who would like to come back.
Wow, that's great. Super.
Is that Peggy's Jams? You probably see her.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I see what they're doing.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Okay, any more questions? Can I have a motion to approve?
All right, I move to approve the Mary Rowlandson Elementary School 5th grade Nature's Classroom trip to Ocean Park, Maine on September 23rd.
Oh, wait a minute, no, oh, yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
September 23rd, 2019 to September 27th, 2019 for 90 students and 11 chaperones as presented.
Second? From someone?
Sure.
Mike?
Mike's got it.
Okay. Any more discussion or questions? All those in favor? Okay, thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
I apologize, Elaine. When we went to Nature's Classroom, it was in Beckett, Massachusetts. I heard Ocean Park, and I thought, but it sounds like more fun than Beckett. It has ocean in the name of
I'm
it.
just reading what.
I know, but I didn't look at it. Okay, thank you. So next, we have, well, what would a meeting be without Paul coming here with a field trip request?
That's
I don't
right.
think we can meet Paul.
And the other end of the spectrum,
That's
right? It's only a month away.
Oh, this one is Friday.
Yeah.
No. Go ahead, Paul, you have the whole.
Well, it's, here I am again. You've seen the article about the DECA students, and it's just, this is the next step. So it's 23 students who are going with several chaperones down to Orlando to the national conference. These kids are primed and ready for success. So the program just gets bigger and bigger. And I don't know how much more I can tell you about it that you don't already know.
Any questions for Paul? I think it really is a point of pride, the way that it has grown, but also the level at which these kids achieve now they're in the nationals. Did you have a question, Mike?
Yeah, just the number of students is 23 and number of chaperones is 2. So do we have do we have an official 1 to 10 policy?
There are actually 3 chaperones going. It's Stavros, Taryn Grigas, and Stavros' wife, who's also an educator, is going down. She just got fingerprinted because the DECA's national guidelines actually is kind of more stringent student to chaperone policy than our own. Our own is 10 to 1 overnight. Theirs is 8 to 1, let's say, so it's 24 students, 3 chaperones. So I don't know if Stavros' wife's name is on the form.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Yeah.
Okay. So do we need to, can we approve it pending that?
Yes.
As amended?
Yeah.
As amended, okay. And Paul, with the fundraising dollars, what does the actual cost to students?
The cost to students is $900 total. And again, to echo what Sean said, there is financial help for students that many of whom Stavros knows their situation, but he's in contact with students and parents.
So that's with the fundraising money, it's $900?
That's with the,
Wow.
that's with the fundraising.
I see.
And one thing that should be noted is the trip leaves on a Saturday, comes back on a Thursday. Parents are asked to drive their kids to the airport, drop off their kids there, so everybody will meet at the airport, and then they'll pick their kids back up on Thursday night at the airport.
Okay, thank you.
All other transportation is taken care of once they arrive in Orlando to the hotel. That's all taken care of.
Any other questions? Can we have a motion?
Yes, I move to approve the Neshoba Regional High School DECA Club travel request to Orlando, Florida on April 27th, 2019 through May 2nd, 2019 for 22 students and, should I say 2 chaperones as amended or and 3 chaperones?
3 chaperones as amended.
And 3 chaperones as amended.
Can we have a second, please?
Second.
Mike? Okay, any more discussion or questions? Okay, all those in favor? All right, thank you very much. Thanks, Paul, good to
Thanks,
see
Paul.
you.
Good luck with the students.
Thanks again.
Thanks. So I'm gonna give the next item over to Brooke, the SRO, School Resource Officer, Memorandum of Understanding Review.
Right, and so I'll just speak briefly to this. It's just, every year we just do a quick review of it. We are not anticipating any changes to it this year. Now, keep in mind that this is because we only officially have one SRO within the district. And right now that position is being filled by Casey Hoole at the high school. I would tell you though, what we are also looking at doing those, because we have two police in our Lancaster and Stowe communities who are very tightly tied to our schools. And they're not necessarily, they don't carry the label SRO like we have it here, but they're as close to an SRO as you're going to get. And they're both amazing men, and we work very, very closely with them. So right now, we're just in the process, the lawyers and I, of developing a new agreement as such that will look similar to this, but not nearly as lengthy as this, because it's not a full SRO position, but something that we've got between our community and the school district for these additional gentlemen. They're not paid by the district, it's got nothing to do with that, but by statute, we need something in play, so we are just in the process of doing that. The SRO at the high school continues to be an incredibly critical position that we have as a district. We use her extensively for so many things. So that continues to go very, very well. We're very pleased with the role that she fulfills, and kind of similar to what I think Sean was saying about when Everett goes off to nature's classroom. We find the same thing with Casey when she coaches. She's actively involved. And so she communicates all the time with students. So it's not a, gee, you only see this individual if you're in trouble. It's a building of relationships, building of bridges, all that kind of thing. So we're not suggesting tonight that there's any changes, but it is a review, so we want you just to kind of take a quick peek at it. Our lawyers are not suggesting any changes to it right now, but we just have to review it every year and then do a resubmit.
So this is the agreement. It was signed in 2017, and this is things as they currently stand.
Right.
So if what you are describing were to happen, would it be an amendment to this, or would this get rewritten?
No, this particular document would remain the same moving forward for our true SRO. That's with Bolton, right?
Oh, I see.
But it's the Lancaster and Stowe that we're going to be looking at different documentation to come forward, because by statute we need to have something in play.
I see. Good.
But they are not full SROs like this. They still will work within their units and only come to the schools basically as called in.
Okay. Lynn.
The SRO that this is describing is the high school only, right?
It is a high school only, but there are times when she may be called out, and that we were having a discussion earlier about that. So when we drafted this, it's with Bolton in the district, but she's primarily based 90% of the time out of the high school, or even more than 90% of the time. But there are times when she's called out to other things, depending on whatever it is.
Other things for the district, other things for the
district.
In the absence of the documentation for the other towns, like you were saying, is the fallback like school committee policy, or is it procedural? Or
No, that's just it. There really isn't anything. And so when I talked to Chief Bosworth, actually, is where this kind of started, to be honest with you. And so we need to put something into play here, but it doesn't need to be nearly like this.
Right.
And so I think, so we agreed that we would have our lawyers take a look at that and build a template from this template. And that's more useful to the positions in Lancaster and Stowe as they are, because we just have nothing articulated right now.
Okay.
Any other questions, Mike?
Are there opportunities for the SRO or even the town police department to report out to the school committee to sort of inform the committee of needs or challenges that the district faces, or is that all internal?
That's pretty much all internal, to be honest with you. We've had our, particularly Bolton, police come in and report out on occasion, but generally it's more about the work that we're doing in safety and all that kind of thing. So would they ever come and do a report out to the school committee? No, I wouldn't see that as being something that probably would be even appropriate, to be honest.
So how would, so obviously the SRO, just like any other member of the community, would see the school or schools through a particular lens. How would what they see get transmitted back to the district in a way that the district could kind of construct improvements or policy changes?
There's always ongoing discussion, particularly between the SRO, the chief, and the principal. Like that's just a regular triangular form of communication. And then you also tie in your assistant principals as well to that. So there's always that ongoing, like daily communication. If something rises that is beyond the school level, but is more at this level, the chief will be the first to call me and say, we need to talk. And so he will pop in. And sometimes, and that's really where, you know, when we were talking about the responder, the need for a responder at the high school, that was him coming forward and saying, can we talk about this? So that's basically what happens from there. So if they can deal with it there, they do. And if they feel it needs to be pushed up, it comes out to them right away.
There's a lot of media coverage lately about SROs, not locally, not Neshoba specific or anything. I would say nationally and largely focused on like urban centers that paints SROs as a negative thing. And I'm wondering, do we have any evidence, qualitative or quantitative, while also respecting student privacy, that would provide evidence of that this is working, that this is a good thing? You know, is it a lower incidence of juvenile arrest, or I don't know, I'm making up data points now, but is there anything like that that we can point to and say, no, look, this is a good thing, this is positive, it benefits relationships more than just saying it does?
Yeah, that's an interesting line of thinking. Do we have anything concrete right now in play? I would say the answer is no to that. But should we think along that line? I think we should. I think that's a really good idea. You know, I was thinking, I believe Casey also went, and I think Joan's gone right now, but I believe she also went bowling with our unified bowling team. You know, it's just, when I was standing in Gillette Stadium, the night that our kids were playing, who was I standing beside? Casey Poole. You know, like, I mean, it's like, she's everywhere, you know. So, I mean, probably anecdotally, I mean, you would catch that, but I don't know that we've got any structures in place. So I think that that's a great idea for us to go back and think on.
You know, just showing how it pays dividends.
Yeah.
It's something that if we want to continue to invest in it, we need to say that it's working.
I seem to recall, I'm sorry, go ahead, Lynn.
I think for that, you need to go look back and find out why we actually put it in place.
To begin with.
Yeah, there was a lot of discussion.
A couple of years ago, there was a big discussion around the table in the town of Bolton about the value of it, and it was precipitated by an incident. But it was at that point that, and I can't remember the particulars, and I can't remember if it was you or Chris. But anyway, I really examined it and the pros and cons and what the value added by this position. But I think that with anything like this, it's good to be able to assess it at some point, if it's anecdotal or not, because in my experience, the SRO, yeah, they have to get involved in some difficult things, but the relationships they establish with kids and the support that they provide for administration, advice, and you know, things of that nature, I think are very, very valuable. And just like Sean mentioned about the police officers that go to Nature's Classroom, the SRO is there, but they're there because that's their job and they're there, not because something happened. And it creates trust and normalcy. And then they're there if something does happen.
They perform wellness checks in our homes. They, you know, I mean, the amount of work that they do to help support the schools and the students is just unbelievable. It would be, I'm disappointed that there's any type of negativity out there. That's certainly not all our experience.
No, I know it's not.
And I know that you're just,
an article gets
yeah.
passed around online about something that happened, usually in an urban district.
Sure.
Because there's different dynamics at play there, and you know, it kind of paints everything with a broad brush.
I'll think a little bit more on that, though. That's a really good idea.
So what do you need from us tonight with regard to this?
Nothing. This is really more just an update to say, here's what's going on, here's what's happening, and heads up on the Lancaster Stowe piece. That'll be coming your way in the next couple of meetings.
Okay. Any other questions for Brooke on this item? Okay. Look who's coming. It's Anne Marie. So we are at the 2019-2020 school year calendar amendment. So Anne Marie, enlighten us.
Okay, thank you.
And Linda Hathaway is here as well.
Thank you for staying. We really appreciate that. It's a long time to wait for calendar discussion.
I have my work.
You've got your work there?
This woman has been to many meetings. You know she comes prepared.
Subsequent to our vote on the calendar when it was approved at the last meeting, I think within a day or two, Linda reached out to the school committee members with a concern about, and a request to change March 2nd of 2020 is going to be the presidential primary, and that's listed as a school day. And she was concerned about all the second, third, whatever the Tuesday in that week. And so she proposed changing the full day professional development day, that's the Friday of that week, to the Tuesday, so that there would be no students in the building for the voting. Of course, that keeps the students out of the picture, but it doesn't help with the parking, because the faculty and staff, would still be there as with their vehicles. So the other option that came forward somehow was to change it so that there would be no school on voting day, that March 2nd, and then tack a day onto the end of the school year. So instead of our last day being June 15th, it would be June 16th. Or with the snow days, instead of June 22nd, it would be June 23rd. Linda was kind enough to come in and speak this morning. The second option, the no school at all, which would eliminate the students being there and also would eliminate the staff vehicles. That's the option that's favored by Pam Powell, who's the Bolton town clerk as well.
And Bolton is the biggest concern for us, because if we have our PD day on that day, it's going to be at the high school. And those of you who are just there on March 8th, and to try to get anybody else in there just for the sake of voting, we can't do it. And it's a designated, am I right, a designated voting place. So, I don't even know how we can work around as a professional development day on that. It would be okay for Lancaster and Stowe, but it definitely wouldn't work for Bolton.
Yeah.
Did you have something to say?
I was just going to say that I asked about a professional day just so that trying not to add a tack on a day. And in the past, when we've come to the school committee, I think it was discussed as being a professional day. So I might have used the wrong terminology and not understanding that, because whenever we've had a day off for the election, no one else was in that school if it was designated as a professional day. I mean, one day they did have parent-teacher conferences, but that was a mess as well.
That was a mess, yeah. That was a mess. We just don't, we want to avoid the messes.
For everybody, forever.
I want to break the protocol a little bit. Sean, did you want to say?
I do recall on one presidential election where, because voting doesn't take place in Lancaster, we held an all-day PD at Lancaster between the middle school and the elementary school. I don't recall if we used this school at all, but I remember a lot of counting of parking spots and shuttling. I think we used a satellite area for parking, but we did hold it all there, so we didn't have to add a day. But sorry for throwing that wrench in there.
Oh, go ahead, Elaine.
Sorry, so if we did no school on voting day and a professional day, it would be on a Friday, so there would be no school on Tuesday and Friday that week, is that correct?
Tuesday and Friday.
Yes.
So as a parent, I don't think it's, that's awful.
I didn't realize there were 2 days in a week that the kids would not be in school.
Tuesday.
And the change from June 15th to 16th would be a Monday to a Tuesday.
Monday to Tuesday. Which is a good thing, because we were hoping there'd be at least one snow day, because last year's school on Monday.
Other ideas, thoughts, concerns, Lynn?
So Sean was saying that if you moved professional day on, you got Get rid of the Friday the 6th, move it to the 3rd, and you have professional aid at a different building than the high school. Is that at all possible?
Really not for what we're planning, to be honest with you.
Sorry.
That is like the marquee professional development day, right?
We looked into that this year on other venues, and when we went and literally counted the parking spots at different locations, the high school was the only venue that would be able to, and even then, we had parking attendants, and we still urged people to carpool going to the high school this year.
Is there any way to get around the kids missing two, although March, we're really cutting them a break because there's never a day off in March unless it snows. But where we could avoid, I mean, I absolutely agree that we have to have the buildings available, and we can't have school on the 3rd. But is there any way, any workaround so the kids don't miss 2 days of school in 1 week?
So would you contemplate, and I don't know, Anne Marie, if this is something that we would want to consider or not, but moving that professional development, or the professional development day to March 13th?
I think the contract says it needs to be 7 days between, am I right there? Yeah.
That's right.
That's what it is.
That's what it is, yeah.
So it would need to be.
We have contractual obligations, yeah.
I'm sorry, 7 days between?
7 days between the full day professional development day and the parent teacher conference days, which are 18 and 25, the bright yellow.
Mm-hmm.
You could do it, you could do the full day professional development day on the 11th, but that's a Wednesday, that's not usually our practice.
What's that? I can't.
It's a late start.
Oh, it's a late start.
Is the purple. Yeah. I think we do, we move it back even more, so it would be February 28th, but that's the Friday after the school vacation week.
March 11th, are you getting into MCAS testing?
No, early.
Is that why it's a late start?
No, it's a high
It's
school
high school
late
late
start for their,
They were what? Just for the
They're
teachers?
yeah, their professional learning community.
Could we swap the late start for a 4th and have a professional day on the 11th? No, you can't because of the 7 days.
Well, the 11th would give you the 7 days, but it would also give you the full day professional development day. Those are typically written on Fridays.
Is there any reason why you couldn't have a professional development day on February 28th?
Well, that's what she was just saying, you'd be coming back, right back after the February break.
Right, but you're not missing 2 days in 1 week.
No, that's true.
What about moving it to the 2nd, and then you just create a really long weekend? I mean,
Moving the full day professional development day?
yeah, I mean, as a parent, I would prefer Monday, Tuesday over Tuesday, Friday.
I really think that we're working this around the teachers and the kids.
No, we're working it around the fact that we
Working
can't.
around,
Yeah, we have to.
we're working around the contracts and what the town needs.
What the town needs, yeah. But we're trying to avoid, well, that would be my concern, that the kids are missing 2 days in 1 week.
I mean, contractually, we can do the 28th, February 28th, right?
Correct, yes.
And that would take,
So, but they would have the 28th
But then they come back on
off, then they come back on
Monday.
Monday.
right, I said that before.
Yeah.
I'm well aware of that.
I'm just thinking out loud, sorry.
That's okay.
That's not
Friday off, Monday off.
Yeah, that's not.
So to Elaine's thought about the Monday, the 2nd for PD, is that doable? March 2nd? And then it's Monday, Tuesday?
Well, considering the reaction we got from the community when we voted to split.
To move it.
Between the
from-
Wednesday
To move it
and
from a
Friday.
Friday, I worry about the feedback again, because the people know that they.
Well, they want it on Friday rather than.
Right, so if we move it off of the Friday,
Off
which it
of-
currently is,
yeah.
to a Monday, now we've got professional development on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Yeah, but you do it on
Sure.
So I'm
Monday.
thinking
But I
back
bet if you
to
said-
your concerns in the last meeting, and
No, I mean, it's a good point, but I bet if you said, but Tuesday has to be no school, people would say, all right, then
It'd
bunch it together.
It'd
but-
be easier to swallow
but I'm
Monday
here.
to Tuesday, because they'll probably take a long weekend and go skiing, but unless you're 2 days.
Can we agree though that we need not to have school on the 3rd? Like,
Yes.
let's start with
I mean,
that.
everybody
So
on
that
the
if
page-
we're okay with that, then let's try to
Mike, is
figure
that,
this out.
is anybody not okay with not having school on the 3rd? It sounds like we recognize that we need it, that not have school to accommodate the
Yeah,
democratic
the
process.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, okay. So then, what do we do with that? We can leave it? Either, no matter what we do, people are not gonna be happy.
Yeah.
So what will make them the least
Least
unhappy?
unhappy.
Friday or Monday?
Do we, procedurally, do we need to figure this out, or can we say?
Kick it down the road?
No, can we say no school on Tuesday,
Yep.
and then, kick it to the administration, the calendar committee, whoever, to determine what the best
Well,
day
we
is.
wanna
and
get
bring
the
it back.
calendar
I know we
out
wanna
for
get it done.
folks. Yeah,
Especially the
Yeah.
professional development day, only because, people need, if there's gonna be someone that's gonna come in, they'll need people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that goes.
There's a lot that goes into that day.
And I don't know if there's already been people booked for the 6th or not.
The planning that goes into that day, the day and the night before particularly is pretty intense. So the night before, if it were on Monday, would be a Sunday night. In terms of the amount of setup, in the events that go on at a high school during the weekend, I wonder if there's anything that's going on there with, which might impede the setup on a Sunday.
So if we explain to the communities what our dilemma is, or what our responsibility is, you're gonna have unhappy people, no matter what we do. Friday is, I think, an optimal day, especially if it's your showcase, professional development. Just take the hit.
I'm fine with whatever the decision is. I mean, another way of looking at the common sense factor says, this is a year in advance. It's a year in advance to plan.
Yes.
So for parents,
Well, I mean, it's a hard decision, but that's why we get paid the big bucks.
Suggesting the 7th?
Well, there are two options. The 7th is a Saturday.
Sorry.
Yes. Contractual power. So the two options is to leave it the way it is and add the 3rd as a no school day because of the primary elections. The other option would be to change the professional development day to Monday with the understanding that the night before, which would be a Sunday night, is the day when, like the George Koros day, that big technology day, people were there late into the night, getting things ready, and then early in the morning. So I think it is, as much as I don't like the Tuesday, Friday, I would be uncomfortable asking people to come in on a Sunday night or even Sunday afternoon, which is their family time to prepare.
I think we have to stick with the Tuesday, Friday.
All right, would anyone like to make a motion to that effect?
I move that we leave professional development day on Friday the 6th and call no school because of the election on the Tuesday the 3rd.
Okay. Do I have a second? Lynn? Any more discussion, questions? Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? One opposed? Mike?
No, he was just late.
I'm confused enough, Mike. Help a sister out. All right, so Mike, were you yes or no?
Yes.
All right, okay.
We're good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anne Marie.
Thank you. Thanks, Anne Marie. Thanks, Linda. Thank you.
Thank you. I know how hard it is to make the decision, and I apologize that this is daily, but we will work on it. And like I said, I never expected that there'd be 14 Democratic candidates already in the race, and that this will be such a really impacted election.
Well, thank you for bringing it to our
Thank you.
attention. Can I make a suggestion?
Thank you for joining us too.
Thank you very much.
Just a suggestion, if you and Anne Marie could draft a statement or a response, because we will be getting.
Anne Marie.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah, if you guys, could get ahead of the curve here and have a statement, a memo to let parents parents know and the reasons for our decision. And I think, again, some folks will be unhappy, but it is a year ahead of time, and it happens every 4 years. So, okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Anne Marie.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Okay, Pat, what do we got?
I have results of operations for the month of February.
Okay.
2019. It really isn't much different than January.
No.
You'll start to see some changes in March, April.
So you close in at the end of the year.
We're closing into
Yeah.
the end of the year, and you'll see some changes at that point. Anybody have any questions about anything on this report? I can explain.
So we're starting to see some negative balances among the schools, teaching and learning, admin facilities.
Most of them are salary related.
Okay.
Because of the shifts that we did at the beginning of the year.
Okay,
Because
you
even at
explained that.
this
I see.
month, I still assume that all of the schools will still have
Okay.
their site budgets.
Okay.
So that's why it still looks like that. You'll start to see things.
But the bottom line is still in the black.
Right.
That's important. Thank you. Any other questions for Pat about the operations?
Just
Elaine?
one. The Neshoba High School line item, do you expect that one to come back down closer to zero as well, or are they just running a surplus?
No,
Their
it's
segment?
because of hires.
Okay, it's the same
Right.
result then.
Remember that 80% of our budget is hires.
Right.
Staffing, so that's really what you're seeing reflected there.
Right.
Is changes in staffing.
And their site-based budgets are really small in comparison to their
The
salary
staffing,
lines,
yeah.
the staffing lines.
Are you ready for the treasury reports for January, February?
Yes, I am.
Very good.
So does anybody have any question about the month of January?
Lynn?
Okay. So, is this actually sitting in a bank, or is this being, just in stocks and stuff? And this is-
Yeah, it's an investment.
So are we going to get a report out as to how that's working?
I think probably
Yes,
maybe,
we will.
yeah, I think we're looking at probably doing like
I
a
think-
yearly report and saying, here's what happened, or not a monthly thing, but maybe
Yeah.
probably once a year type thing. I
Right,
think
this
we
is
should.
basically off of a statement that the treasurer gets and we just reporting the balances at that point in time.
Because we have that in a trust.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
That's all been organized into the trust.
Exactly.
And we have the organization that we hired to.
Right, to invest for us.
That's exactly right, yeah.
Other questions for Pat? What about February?
February, anybody have any questions for February?
So is that in OPEB, again, is that interest that we earned from January, between January and
Well,
February?
interest or the value of our investment has gone up.
But that's why we wanna make sure that we don't look from month to month,
Mhm.
because it goes up and down,
Right,
so we
it
need to
depends
keep that
on
in
what's going on
mind.
in
Yeah,
That's
in the
right,
stock
so-
market.
Okay.
So,
Questions about February?
Yeah, what's the $2,200 at TD Bank? What is that?
that money, we used to use TD Bank, that was our primary bank, and there are still funds sitting there, and there hasn't been anything small enough to really like transfer those funds out yet, but it's something that the treasurer is going to clean up by the end of the year.
Okay.
Pat, why are we still reporting on the Fidelity account month to month when it's been closed?
I think customarily we report that to the end of the year.
Okay.
Because
Because
I think it was
it was
closed
open
in-
in the beginning of the year?
Yes.
And so if it's reported at the beginning, it's
No,
consistent,
until the
okay,
end.
okay.
Okay, and then we have the leach field and oil tank bonding code from it, but we don't have anything in our packets.
No, there isn't anything in the packet,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna give you an update of where we
Okay.
are.
Yep.
We are at the design for the leaching field is now with DEP. We're waiting for their approval. As soon as it is approved, then we'll go to the next stage, which is we'll have our specifications, to go out to bid, and then
We're closing in on it.
closing
It's
it.
such a
If
major
we can't start
project.
till July 1st, we will be moving forward. The oil tank, we're still working on that. We're looking at alternatives to replace the tanks with another oil tank, so there are a couple of moving pieces right there. And as soon as I have something concrete, I will bring that forward to you.
Mike?
Can we not start until July 1st because of the budget?
Yes.
And so, how are we funding the cost of the plans and all the due diligence prior to the actual?
That was already in this.
That was in this year's budget.
We
Okay.
budgeted that.
Oh, okay.
All the way along, Mike, we've looked at not starting this project until after July 1st. Like,
Right.
that was absolutely deliberate, strategically placed like that because of the funding. And because we didn't have money in this year's budget to start it. What we had the funding for was to lay out the plans. So that's why, and do the study, that's exactly correct.
Okay.
So that's
Right.
why nothing
Okay.
happens until after July 1st on this.
Lynn?
So you're writing a warrant for the town meeting?
The articles for the warrant, yes, they've
They've already
already been
gone out.
drafted and the town administrators have already reviewed them and approved them. So every community's got everything that they need right now. We were ahead of the curve this year.
Good.
And there was one other thing.
The body vote
Affirmation.
affirmation.
Vote.
So, and that's really, they don't need to take a vote or anything like that, it's just basically to reaffirm the fact that you did this at the last meeting. That's all, and we just needed to have it on, for housekeeping purposes, we needed to have it on our agenda again. But there's not a to-do for you here. It's just reminding you that you did that last meeting.
Good. Any other questions for Pat? Okay, thanks, Pat.
Thank you, Val.
Welcome. So we don't have any committee reports, okay? Correspondence, any correspondence of note?
We have actually, she's not here. We can get to it. Did you want to report on policy?
From policy?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So she's winding up. She's doing really well.
She's very busy right now, isn't she? The emails are just flying.
So she's gonna need.
She who?
Susan.
Yes.
So she's gonna need votes on the 10th or the 24th.
Okay.
So it's gonna make it into the calendar.
You want to tack that on?
She's working on her way up.
Okay, great.
So you got-
Thank you.
So Lita has everything, so I'm all done.
You're super.
Lita has it.
Okay, the consent agenda, any comments, changes? Hearing none. Items to be considered for next agenda, what I have for April 10th is the high school student handbook review, stipend review, center school presentation, a report on school choice, in, out, kids that are here and kids who aren't. For the 10th, is there anything else that we need to add? I don't know when we were going to look at the manual. I don't see that, but I'd like to have it.
The school committee manual.
Yeah.
We should probably do that before the new school committee
Yeah,
members
can we
on.
put that on the 24th of
Sure.
April? School committee manual? I'm sorry?
So I would say May 8th looks really light, and that's the last meeting before the election.
Okay, well,
Actually, we
can
can do that then, if you
Yeah,
wanna do that.
okay, that sounds
The
good.
election is like the 14th or something.
Yep. Anything else for the good of the order this evening?
I just had a question about an update. So we had, months ago, we had talked about having a student council from the high school come in.
Oh.
And that never got put on the calendar. School councils got put on the calendar,
Mhm.
but student council didn't. I didn't know if maybe the high school council was this part of the student council, or if there was a connection there, or if we just haven't gotten it on the calendar.
Is it?
No, it's one
Those are
student,
two very
they're
separate
they're
things.
distinct, yes.
Yeah.
So, wait, one thought at a time. Elaine?
No, I was done.
Okay, so, Lynn,
Is it Kyle, the student rep?
he's a student rep, but he's not, I don't think he represents the student council, does he? He's just a rep for us.
He's just a student rep for the school committee.
Yeah.
But isn't he voted from the pool of the student council?
You know, I don't know, I don't have the answer.
Can you find out for us, please? Okay, that would be great.
Oh, I mean, yeah, if that's the case, then maybe you could just report out on, you know, any additional topics that the student council wants to bring to us or something like that.
I think usually the principal.
I was gonna say, I thought that the principal identified it, yeah.
But it would, as a, you know, we hear from students and student organizations, it would be good to hear from the student council with their advisor about what they do, what their mission is.
It's
how
it's in the handbook that
Right.
they should present to the school committee at least once a year, so.
Yeah, wow.
That's, no, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Maybe we can put that to the May 8th date too.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, I'm just having a senior moment because there was something I wanted to bring up and it is escaped me.
Just let me know.
All right, I didn't know if it was something for everybody. Agenda. Oh, no, I see it because I wrote a note, because I want to write things down. Just, the only action item, I think, is the, some kind of a memo or statement regarding the changes to the calendar that we would want at the ready.
Yeah, we'll get that drafted right away.
Okay, very
I'm
good.
sure Anne's probably gonna put it in the papers still.
Yeah.
We should hear from the other.
Yeah, she was.
Yes, she
Yes,
was.
that's right. We'll just, but we'll be ready, we'll have a statement. Okay, in that case, would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll move to adjourn at 7:45.
It's 45. 45.
45.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? All right, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.